Welcome back to my channel, ELO for Life. And today, if you want to see how I created this half wig, no closure, no frontal. If you want to see how I created this, easygoing style, protective style, then keep watching my video. Okay, for this half wig, what I'm currently going to use is, I'm going to use 3 bundles. Well, I have 3 bundles. The hair is from a vendor called Sewn. I've used this hair before from Amazon. It was a 3-package deal for 50 bucks. And I'm using a 8-inch, 10-inch, and a 12-inch. So what I've pretty much done here, I went on ahead and just doubled my tracks utilizing the sewing machine method way. I will put a link below on the video to show you how I doubled my tracks. I do have that in one of my videos on where I made a wig with the spandex cap sewing my wig. So you will see that. So I'm getting used to doubling my tracks, and it's also the best thing ever because it just makes the process a lot easier. So, and you can barely see them. You can barely see the thread on them things too. And I just did that for 2 of my bundles because I wasn't sure if I was going to use the 3rd bundle or not. So the next thing here is I actually went on ahead and used a mesh dome cap for this process. I was going to make a full wig, but I decided to do the half wig. So yes, I am using a mesh dome cap, and I can say that when sewing it on a sewing machine, it is a lot easier. So I'm not sure what size that dome cap is, if it's an extra large or a regular. I just got it from my local beauty supply store. But in this segment, I'm just showing you exactly where I want the half wig to start from. So I just took one of those metallic Sharpies and marked it, put my mesh dome cap. Make sure you put a shower cap on too, because this is a permanent marker. And I just marked it exactly where I wanted my half wig to start from. Now, I'm pointing to is right before my ear. Is exactly where it is. Now, the parting looks a little bit of a mess, but I'll straighten it up in a minute. But that's where I wanted my half wig, and I will be cutting out that middle part right there. So, I just wanted y'all to see that. And then here is where I actually went and straightened up that line because it was a little crooked. I wanted to make sure that everything was okay. I am a size 22 when it comes to a dome head. That is my size. One thing I can say, and I might recommend, especially when you're using a mesh dome cap, this one's kind of tight. I will recommend to go ahead and maybe use a half a 22. If you are a 22, go up a half an inch. So use maybe a 22 and a half. That's just my suggestion. But to each his own. But it still fit though. It's just a snug fit, a very snug fit, but it did fit. So what I wanted to do, and what you may see in a lot of videos, and people are making full wigs, they're just going to outline with the metallic Sharpie. And you want a metallic Sharpie where you can actually see. If you're going to either sew it by hand or if you're going to use a sewing machine, but you just want to outline exactly where your tracks are going to go. I like doing this. A long time ago, I never used to do this. I used to just do it by eye. But I think I like outlining my, exactly where I'm going to place my tracks. It just seems to make the process that much easier. And I know how many bundles I'm going to use. So in this case, you know, when you are sewing on a sewing machine, you have to take in consideration that the sewing machine will cause the cap to shrink a little bit. So this may have been one of them options where it may have been best to kind of use a spandex cap. But like I said before, it does fit. It is a very snug fit for me. And I'm just outlining the lines very carefully. And you want to leave enough spacing in the middle so that you can have that stretch. You don't want to put your lines too close together, because if you do that, your cap or your full wig or your half wig is definitely not going to fit because it will not have any stretching capability towards it whatsoever. So, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to just get it all together, and then that's easy enough. And I think I used about 9 lines, 9 or 10 lines, I think, going across like this. And then you will definitely see in the next segment, as I get closer to the top, that I've used pretty much 3 rows going across. So I think altogether it was maybe somewhere around 12, 13 rows that I'm actually going to stitch the tracks on for us the mesh dome cap. But I do like mesh dome caps better than a spandex cap. Now, here everything is complete. I have everything all marked out, and that's just me counting. But I did use 3 rows at the top. And one thing I can say that when you are sewing on a sewing machine, that as you get closer and closer to the top of your cap, and this is something that I have to practice on, it gets harder and harder. I mean, doing the back of it is pretty easy, but as you get closer to the top, especially the part that starts getting more rounded, it gets a little bit more hard. And then in this segment, you'll definitely see that I had sewed on, and I'm not going to show you sewing these tracks on because I have a video on drawstring where I actually sewed a drawstring and made a drawstring ponytail on a sewing machine. And I also have like I said before, a video sewing tracks onto a spandex cap. So I don't want to be repetitious here. I try to keep my videos as short as possible, but this video is kind of lengthy. But that's just me mapping out how much more hair I need to use. Now I did not use all 3 bundles of hair. I've actually only used, I would say, around 2.5 bundles of hair to do this, because I like my wigs to be full. I don't like them to be too thin whatsoever. And it worked out perfectly. And the hair that if I didn't mention this type of hair it is a kinky curly hair by Sewn. So, by the Sewn company. So it did work out for the best. I like the length of the hair. I didn't want anything too long this time around, and I didn't want a bunch of hair on my neck. So anytime like I practice, I'm going to use cheaper hair. I'm not going to use top quality hair. Because this, like I said, is practice. And right here is the end result of my half wig. It didn't take that long. I think the longest part was me trying to actually get the trying to sew at the top, where I kind of like just gave up. So I am going to, so what I actually did was those 3 rows that was going across that you saw in the previous part of my video, the previous segment of my video, I had to actually hand stitch those 3 rows that went across, because me and the sewing machine, we was fighting. It just was not getting it. I couldn't get it to either stretch on the sewing machine, or it was just, I couldn't maneuver it for whatever reason. But I love the curls, you guys. The curls are pretty. And like I said, this was a 3 bundle pack for $50 off of Amazon. And that was a deal. So, and I love the curl pattern. And this is a kinky curly wig. So I will be cutting that middle part out. And what I also did was I sewed on the very last track around the part that went around where the half wig, where it was meeting from ear to ear. I did sew a track onto that part that went all the way across. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want the tracks to be, you know how when you're sewing a wig, if you've ever sewn a wig, when you're bringing the wig around, it staggers up. I wanted it just to be one even track across. And this is where my stitching looks like inside of the mesh dome cap. So it's not too bad at all. I really do like doing it this way because it makes sewing a lot easier. And like I said before, I just stitched those 3 rows at the top because I just couldn't take it anymore with the sewing machine. So you can do this both ways. You can stitch and do this by hand if that's your preference, if you don't have a sewing machine, or you can actually do it by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my final results about this wig. Okay, y'all, this is the final results of the half wig that I started making on a mesh dome cap with a sewing machine. So first of all, if you've seen my last video where I tried to make a wig with a sewing machine on a spandex cap, and I said that I would try to make a wig with a mesh dome cap. I didn't make a full wig. I decided I wanted to do something different this time. However, I will do a video on making a full wig with a mesh dome cap on a sewing machine. But this go around, I want to do something different, y'all. I wanted to just do a half wig. I didn't want to do any closures. I didn't want to do any frontals or anything like that. I didn't want to worry about getting up in the morning, having to blend my hair down, you know, putting on makeup on the closure and all that good stuff and moussing it down or, you know, so on and so forth. I just wanted something very easy. The style that I did, I absolutely love it. I love how everything came out. This is a protective style that I can get up and just go to work in. And it's a half wig. And it's a half wig. And I absolutely love it. This is actually my first time making a half wig on a sewing machine. Now, I started off, if you saw in the video, I started off making the wig on a sewing machine. And I did most of it going up to the part. But then I got to the part where on the sewing machine part where I needed to go across. And I was just having issues. And I don't know why I keep having issues with trying to use a sewing machine and get, like, when I get closer to the top of the wig, why it gives me problems. So I always just start stitching it down, sewing it down. But this is something that I'm just trying to practice. I'm trying to practice making wigs on a sewing machine because it is a lot easier and it's a lot faster. And I did double my tracks, as I mentioned in my video. So the hair that I mentioned, it is a kinky curly. It's a Brazilian virgin kinky curly hair. I did get this hair from Amazon. It was a 8, 10, and 12 inch hair from a, what was it called? Synosia. Amazon. And it was like some little package deal. And when I practice making wigs, I do not go out and spend money on quality hair. You know, if I'm going to practice a wig, I'm going to get some cheap hair. And that's what it is. And it's just for that. It's cheap. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know how long it's going to hold up or whatever. But it was just something that I wanted to practice. Am I going to make another half wig? Absolutely. However, I'm going to use it for my own line of hair, ilovewigs.com, with my own hair. So my hair is Virgin Remy is quality hair. So I wanted to get some cheaper hair and practice with this. But as you can see, I have braids. I have actually put 3 big braids. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off so that you all can see my braid pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and take these. I did put some combs in here as I mentioned before. But let me take this off. Now, I do have a braided headband that I actually made. Y'all, I made this headband. I just said I wanted something on the top of my head. I wanted something, add some more, you know, pizzazz to the style whatsoever. So I actually made this braided headband. Oh my gosh, you guys. And it was so freaking easy. I made it in about 15, 20 minutes, I think. And I just put some little things that you get from the hair store. I put some of those little jewel things on here. But I made this headband and I used crochet hair. I actually used crochet hair to make this. And got a little band. So I think I'm going to, this is actually my first time making this. So you can make bands like this in different types of bands. And the reason why I did this because I knew I wanted to add pizzazz to my half wig, or even when I don't wear a half wig, even when I'm wearing like a regular wig and I want to add some style, sometimes I go out and I go out looking for different headbands because I like headbands, and sometimes I cannot find the band, or I have a vision in my head what type of band that I want, but I can never find it, and I hate that. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make my own headband. It'll be a lot easier. I know some of the ones I've seen on Amazon and I've seen in the store look very synthetic-y, shiny and synthetic-y. And I didn't want this to look shiny and synthetic-y whatsoever. But like I said before, I made this and it was so easy. Just so easy. So that will be in my next video, because if I learn something, I want to go ahead and share the knowledge so you all can learn how to do things too. I'm not one of the ones that's going to hold back. But this is just a 2 double braided headband. And I use some crochet here to make this. So you can use whatever hair you want to make a headband. But stay tuned to that video. So let me go ahead and take my half wig off, because it is the end of the day. I am making this at the end of the day. So I was going to take this off anyway. And y'all know how I don't like wigs where I have to glue down and so on and so forth. But I will try it one day. Don't say I'm not going to try it. So I want to show you all my first of all, look at my wig. Now, this is optional, okay? You don't have to do this. But what I added in here, I have I have 3 combs on top. Okay? 3 combs on top. And I also have 1 comb in the back. If y'all can see that, I have one comb in the back. And this is how it looks on the inside. So you can see where I stitched it with a sewing machine. And then when I got to the top, I had to do some hand stitching because it was getting a little tough. So what I did was, and this is optional, you don't have to do this, but I just chose to do this. I chose to sew down a strip of hair on the back side of this. Can y'all see that? Right here on the back side of this, I chose to sew down a strip of hair because I wanted to cover the top track. So you look at the top, you can see you'll have like a whole layer of top track up there. And like I said, you don't have to do that. You can make one of them braided headbands and cover the top track with that. Or you can use your own hair and cover the top track with that. But like I said, this is going to be a protective style for me. And I did not want to have any of my hair out whatsoever. I don't want to do that. So I did braid that. And then what you do is when you sew a track underneath, you take a flat iron and you bring the hair over and you just flat iron the hair down so it can cover that track. Now, one thing I can say is that I wish I would have used 2 tracks instead of 1, because it just seems they may just cover better if you use 2 tracks. But I only used 1 and it still worked out fine for me. But like I said, this is the curly hair. It looks like it would look like your own hair, like you're growing out of your own hair, actually. But I wanted to show you all my braid pattern real quick. So what I did was I braided a braid in the middle, and it may not be perfect, and I ain't the best braider in the world, but you know, to each his own. I really don't care. But I just wanted a different hairstyle that did not involve a closure and a frontal. I kind of wanted my top of my hair and the edges and stuff to rest. And, you know, when we do these protective styles, we do need to let our edges rest. You know, you don't need to always put tension on them or put glue on them whatsoever. So I put a braid in the middle. And then what I did was I did 1, 2, 3 braids on one side and 3 braids on the other side. And then back here, I don't know if you can see, excuse the napperoos, okay? Excuse my naps, if y'all see those. But I come around and did like a somewhat anchor braid. The anchor braid is for that comb in the back. So it has something to attach yourself to. And all I did was take my hair, take all the hair. Oh, I did braid this in the back. So y'all saw the braid going down in the back. That's all I did. And I took these 3 braids, these 6 braids on the side and the one in the middle, and I just pulled it back in the ponytail and I, you know, braided it up. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why I did it like that. Some people may take these braids and braid it into the hair that's going in the back. And the reason why I did not do that, because if I need to freshen up these braids, this braid and these 6 braids on the side, if I need to freshen it up, then I don't have to worry about taking this out in the back loose. I can go ahead and just rebraid this part up here. So that was the purpose of me doing that. And the other purpose of me having like 3 braids right here, because like I said, it's a half wig. So my goal was to have the half wig, you know, starting from like right here, you know, kind of what this does. So I had 1 braid out and I had this 2 and I had the 3. So it depends on how far back you want your half wig to go. My half wig, you have options like this. So if you want the half wig to come all the way up here, okay, then you have an option to have it come all the way up here. And like I said, you have those combs, so you can put them combs in there. And the purpose of these side braids is to put the combs in so it'll hold it down. And then you got that 1 braid in the middle, so you can kind of anchor it in there. And it depends on how far you want it to go up. Now, it's not going to come all the way up here because, you know, if you're going to do it all the way up there, you might as well go ahead and make a full head wig. And I did cut the mesh dome cap strictly for that purpose so that it could be a half wig. But, so if I wanted my hair to come back this far back this way, in which it does, I anchor the braids back here. So I got 2 options. It depends on how far I want my half wig to come up or back. I have a couple of options there to do it that way. And that's the other reason why I have 3 braids on the side and 1 braid in the middle, just to give it some decorative purposes. So when I put the band on. So I absolutely love the half wig. You know, you can get on in the morning and just pop this baby. Just like that, y'all. Just pop it on. Pop it, get it popping. And you just anchor your braids in there, y'all. Just put the combs in there. You anchor it, fix it up, do what it do. And that is it. You can be on ready to get on about the house. And like I said, I will put my braided, I don't know if y'all can see that. I put my braid. It's just in there. And it sits in there. And the reason why I like this hairstyle, you guys, because it is very light. It is very, very light. It don't feel heavy on my hair. I don't feel like I have a lot of hair on my head. This is a great style for that when it starts getting warm again, starts getting hot outside, especially for those who likes to work out. This is a great and awesome style for your hair. And I don't like hair in my face when I'm working out. I do work out. I'm trying to get back into like working out on a consistent basis. So I already know that when it gets warm again, I'm going back outside to work out. You know, running them steps at the stadium that me and my husband do, walking in the park that me and my husband do. And this is just a great option to keeping the hair off your face. And I don't like a lot of hair in my face. So a lot of times in the spring and summer, I tend to wear my hair up in the updo or up in the ponytail. But you can make yourself a half wig. If I can make myself a half wig, you can make yourself a half wig. And like I said, you just dress it up. You can put like a little braided thing, little braided headband that I did, or you can put a regular headband on here, and then or you can add like jewels in here, like those little jewels that you get from the from your local beauty supply store. That's what I did. So this is a great and awesome protective style. I'll probably wear more styles like this over the spring and summer months if I'm not doing an updo. And I just wanted to share that information with you all. If you're getting tired of wearing closures, or if you're getting tired of wearing frontals, you know, this is just another option of wearing a wig, but just wearing it in a different way. Okay? And like I said before, it was very easy. So if I wanted to bring this up even further, I could on my head. And because it's on the mesh dome cap, it's stretch. And I don't like to put a lot of tension on my head with these combs. So if I don't, and if I needed this bobby pin it down, like so if I wanted to bring it up here, I could and make it a little bit further up here. But one thing I can say that based on my experience, that when you do map out where you want your half wig to go, give yourself, especially if you're sewing it or if you're doing this on a sewing machine. And that's the great thing about this. You can sew it, hand stitch it, or do it on a sewing machine. Like I said before, I was just practicing, but if you wanted to give yourself, I would say give yourself another 1/2 inch past where you are actually going to lay it, because this is a very tight fit for me. That's why I'm probably going to wear more in the back, so I'm not putting a lot of tension on my head with the combs, which is fine for me because, you know, it's still giving me the look that I was looking for. So if you wanted to wear up a little bit further, I would suggest that if you're mapping it right here next to your ears like I did, because this is where I had kind of like outlined it, do it up a little bit more, because when you sew it on a sewing machine or when you do a hand stitch, what happens is you're kind of like constricting the cap some. So you're constricting that cap, you're kind of pulling it, and these are mesh dome caps. And I'm not sure what size mesh dome cap this is. I got it from my local beauty supply store. I don't know if this is the regular or the extra large. On it, it did not say whatsoever. So I just went with what I had and what I need to work with. And you probably can do this on a spandex dome cap. That would probably give you even a little bit more stretch than the mesh dome cap. But as far as sewing it on a sewing machine, I do like the fact that I could start it off with the sewing machine. And I only had like I only had to do like 3 rows across. So I just hand stitched that since I was just having hard time. But I'm going to take somebody's sewing class on making wigs on a sewing machine. So with that being said, I do make wigs. However, I do hand stitch them. I do make wigs for clients. So you can check out my website at ilovewigs.com. Also, I do sell bundles. I'm having a pre-Easter sale on bundles. And you can also check that out at ilovewigs.com. In addition to that, if you all enjoy watching my videos, or if you have any questions or comments whatsoever, go ahead and put that below. And if you want to see more valuable content that I have coming your way, go ahead and hit the notification bell and subscribe to my channel. Until then, I will see you all in my next video. God bless.